All right. I'm waiting to see. I don't see it. It says it's live. Wonder where we're streaming. Okay, there it
Hi,
is.
everyone. Oh, yes, I see us too. I
Thank you.
wonder where we are in the multiverse.
Okay, hang on. Where do hang on, friends. I'm new to StreamYard. I click comments here.
Anything you post there
Okay,
goes
great.
to all of them.
Okay, great. Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you, Christopher.
Okay. Well, that was adventurous.
It surely was.
Hi, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning, friends. We had a technological
Hi, Rhea.
adventure.
That stretched me a bit. New tech platform, but isn't it beautiful? Thank you, Laura. Thank you for helping us to make this happen. And good morning, everyone. Hi, Holly. Hi, Rhonda. We're so happy to be here with you, and just to keep the connection and continuity while Laura is getting a well-deserved break.
Yes.
He's in South Africa, and I haven't heard if they've landed. I imagine we're 2 days into this journey. They have to have landed.
Yep.
So always wishing Laura and their family a beautiful time together. And it's wonderful to be with you this morning. Hi, Mahela. Good morning. Good morning. I wanted to introduce an incredible, beautiful soul to you. This is my dear friend, Abby. Abby and I have been on the path of, spiritual journey and spiritual friendship together for over 12 years. And Abby is an amazing spiritual aftercare practitioner, a spiritual coach. Abby's an herbalist. She is just an incredibly beautiful soul. She also, interestingly, has a whole other facet of her work in the world and service offerings, which is also helping light workers to ground into the simplicity of bringing your website out into the world and getting a grasp on the basics of socials. So she has like this shaman side and tech side, which we did not know about your tech savvy until recently.
Even I didn't know about it. That was a really, thank you for that super sweet introduction. Yeah, that's a really fun passion I think a lot of us in the world of healing and coaching, it can be a scary stop for us to start putting ourselves out in the world in the online universe. So that's a fun world to play in with people, is helping them get, I call it putting your soul on a page. How do you put your soul on a page?
Ooh. And then there's the buttons, which is like, first you have to get through that. Okay, I really wish to, the calling is really, really not going to quiet down. So I've said yes to my unique talents and gifts. I've said yes to my enthusiasm. I've said yes to my passions. I am diving into my own healing work, and I remain on it eternally.
Absolutely.
And I really am called to help others to be free of unnecessary suffering. And I really think that this is such a beautiful community of guides and helpers and healers and givers and light workers. Everybody here is, whether you even know it or not, if you're here, there's a guide in you that may be just sprouting.
Absolutely.
So Abby, you bring both of these worlds together in your services. It's really quite amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, hi everyone. It's sweet to see the comments. Hi friends.
So, okay. Abby and I were chatting this morning about what's going on in our lives and what do we hear and see are going on in your lives. And transition keeps coming up as really huge for so many people. And today really is a transition day astrologically, right? We are entering in officially to this whole super new moon today and the year of the dragon. And this year seems to be, I mean, there are so many themes that go along with this year. And a huge one is about really stepping into what you are, being you, stepping into your authenticity, and really stepping into your power, whatever that looks like. And we wanted to talk a little bit about what self-care looks like in transition. So over to you, because you like, we both have been in a lot of transition, and this has been like a doozy for you.
Every single person that I've talked to lately is going through some kind of big transition, whether it's in relationship or work or moving, family life. There is so much shifting happening in the world. And I'm going through a separation with my partner at the moment. And so it's been a huge, huge transition, a lovingly, thank God. I'm so grateful for our space. We're separating in the space of love, which doesn't make it any easier. And I'm grateful for being able to be in the space of love. And my whole life is shifting, right? My day-to-day is so different. The person that I go to for everything is no longer in my space. So every part of my day is different. So self-care in the space of what I'll call upheaval, not because it's bad, but because it's topsy-turvy, is a little different. I have to be a lot more aware throughout the day of how my system feels. I have to be more conscious of myself and my inner voice. So self-care right now is a tender process. There's a lot of tenderness, and as important as it has been in my life to create a daily self-care practice, right now it's really moment to moment.
And times of transition mirror all of the everything we experience when we experience, let's say, someone we cherish either crosses over, whether it's expected or it's sudden. When the form of a relationship shifts or changes, whether gradually coming or suddenly, there is grief. And I think that in our culture, we associate grief more often with someone crossing over, which makes complete sense. And yet, there is as much grief to a sudden or expected job change or loss, the form of a relationship changing, a family member being in the military or incarcerated. There's grief when family members or friendships take a conscious pause. Or, I love that definition of boundaries as this is how I can love you and myself simultaneously. So
beautiful.
So in that space of when we're grieving, grief is the natural and instinctive response to change, both wanted or unwanted. And the energies, grief is an energy that yearns to move, and grief insists on presence. Grief really insists on our being profoundly present, because grief will bring you into the awareness of life is a moment by moment experience. And it's sometimes easy to forget that when we get in routine, right? And everything and the known is around us, right? The known people, the known environment, the routine. So the energy of grief, the presence of grief and change brings you into a powerful tenderness. It is a powerful tenderness that invites a whole new level of coming back home to yourself. Yes. Because I think that many people who are carers, givers, helpers, healers. One of the challenges of being that wide open hearted can be I've sort of entangled myself in my work, my relations, my partnerships, my role as a mother, you name it, any of our roles. And that disentanglement is suddenly what happens when a relationship changes or someone crosses over. It's like, who am I? What do I love? Like, you really have to come home back. You have to come back home to yourself.
Mm.
So can I ask you a little bit about what, like,
Sure.
summarize a little bit of what your journey is like that? I need to come back and learn about myself, because you and I both have the personality type big time of like getting enmeshed in our relations.
Yes.
And maybe I know there's such collective wisdom here. So if anyone else is finding any resonance with this, like, we'll keep going down this rabbit hole with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so curious to hear what people's experiences are with this. Yeah, I think a lot of healers, caretakers, givers have we care so deeply, and this is something I think is crucial. Yes, we can get in that enmeshment, and it's a process to learn how to individualize within that space, and that comes from such a deep place of love and care. And that's how I started to begin to love myself more in that space, is to really look at myself and say, oh, this comes from love. And in order to give myself just as much, if not more, love as I'm giving out to everyone else in the world, or care, or I have to, it has to be authentic. I have to authentically come to a place where I know myself well. So part of my self-care process has been following the little call of, for example, I remember my feed on Instagram started showing me, I don't know if anyone has seen the incredible roller skaters in the world who just do spinning, and like they're skating outside. They look so cool and beautiful and flowy. And I would just see these videos and be like, wow, this is so cool. People can really roller skate. That is so cool. I wish I could do that. Anyway, scrolling. And then one day it really hit me like, oh, wait a second. If I'm interested in that, I can learn that. Why not? So I started going to my local roller skating rink, and I usually go once a week, and I just skate around in circles. But that process, while it seems really simple, it was such a profound, it has been, it still is. It's a profound process of coming into relationship with myself, of acknowledging, oh, that's a way that's something that pulls passion out of me or inspiration out of me. And there is no reason why I wouldn't follow that voice of joy, that voice of inspiration. And it's been a slow journey of just getting to know myself. So self-care now looks like really learning to trust that little voice, not just let it pass me by, but really trust it in both directions. Sometimes it's, oh my gosh, you roller skating would be fun, which is quite simple. And sometimes it's when I feel the welling of grief rising. So it's a slow process of learning to trust and love that voice.
You just said something really brilliant. And you and I have talked a lot about, and we've chatted here with the collective, just about how we can look at our system, the system of a version of the human design, is that we have 3 centers of divine creative intelligence. The head center of wisdom, which was your longing, that looks amazing, I'd love to do that. The heart center is our second center. You had the feeling when you were watching the roller skaters. And that core center is our power center, our center of action, the body center. It took action. So great shifts happen in our lives when we live congruent, when our wisdom, our love, and our power of action are like, we're a team, we're aligned, we're congruent, let's go team. It's a
Yes, go team.
three-part team. And it can be, and to set in motion the action for some of us is the center of the three that is seeking a little more stamina and fortitude and practice. It can be very easy to have the great idea, the feeling of longing, and yet what would stop us are things like anything from, I'm talking about roller skating now. I could fall. Right. I'm going to be alone there. I've never done this. I'm way out of my comfort zone. I'm going to be embarrassed. I'll look silly. Everybody else is better. Like immediately the mind can come on and talk us out of that action step, right? One of my teachers always says the mind does two things. It thinks, yay, all the thinking, and it doubts, woohoo.
Yes.
Right. And so doubt, that inner voice of thinking and doubting, is what's strong enough to knock us out of, if our will center isn't already very strong, and people with very strong will centers have a different center to cultivate balance in. Either they'll be strong in will with a lot of intellect and let's bring a little more heart online, or they've got a lot of will and a lot of heart and there's some intellect to cultivate and develop. So working with that three centers model. So I love how you just illustrated getting no action happened until all three centers were engaged.
Yeah. And that's the center for me that I have to really pay attention to, my power center, my action center. And when that gets online, it's a really fun experience to live the world from those three spaces being aligned.
Yeah. There's some like absolutely beautiful comments in the chat. I just want to rewind to Ryan. I'm not useful with the sleep paralysis stuff. So that may be a good question to put in one of the discussion groups because there's such collective wisdom here. I go to sleep and then I wake up. Like like that, there's all my adventures of sleep, right? So I know very little to nothing about that. Jacqueline is talking. Oh, Jacqueline's going through all of the changes right now. Okay.
Really?
Like, oh, Jacqueline, like we bow to you.
Yes, Jacqueline. Oh my goodness.
Jacqueline, this is really powerful. She says, it's forced me to be isolated to learn how to be me without immersion in others.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yes. I'm glad you're here, Jacqueline.
That's beautifully said.
Yeah. Yep.
Sometimes the exact lesson like that one comes at the perfect moment, and the feelings that arise with it are sometimes really difficult to be with. And it's I've found for myself that letting that deep grief come, of that feeling of sort of loneliness and isolation that arises for me too in this space, Jacqueline, as I let that really come up and out, it's almost like I'm moving this energy, or I'm moving these sort of barriers out of me so that I can sink into myself differently. I really get what you mean by that. It's a big lesson. Wishing you lots of love in that.
And Kristen's sharing that she's an educator, a teacher, and teaches young children. And Kristen's husband passed 17 months ago. I've been coming home to myself since then, all mixed up with grief. And Hubs is helping me from the other side each and every day.
Oh, Kristen.
Thank you. I'm so grateful that you have that established connection. I work with a lot of people one-on-one in the area of grief coaching and grief counseling. And one of the most magnificent moments in our grief journey, when we are asked to really, it's up to, we must release someone we cherish in the form that we're used to and really wanted forever. That reconnecting, that reestablishing that connection in the new form of your continued relationship is really quite powerful. And I'm so grateful, Kristen, that is there between you. And Kristen's done more shadow work than Bigfoot at 6 p.m. on a mountainside. Good morning, Dr. Scott. Mwah.
That's amazing.
Amanda's sharing that. Oh, this is beautiful, Amanda. This is continuous work, always evolving, reaching and stretching our soul selves. Our creativity brings out divine synchronicities. So true.
Yes.
Namaste, Amanda. And Sonia says, after my husband's death a few months ago, I felt so empty, like someone completely erased me, my personality, my joy, my purpose. Been together since we were teenagers, so we were completely enmeshed. Slowly, I'm learning to pay attention to the littlest joys I can find. It's not easy, and there is hope. There is. And Sonia,
Sonia, thank you for sharing so vulnerably here. I really, that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Danny, would you mind speaking a little bit to, because you are in my world, you've taught me so much about grieving and care. We're talking about self-care and transition. Do you have any thoughts on self-care around death? I think a lot of us are experiencing that right now in life.
Yeah, whether the deaths are someone's crossing over or it's metaphorical, or there's changes in our lives. When there's a new, when the loss is sudden, fresh and new, there's that first few months you're not going to feel grounded. Like you're going to feel disoriented, because grief is an energy that's moving through all the layers of our being. It's impacting our physical layer. It's impacting the way we think, the way we feel, the way we perceive, the way we move our bodies. So those first 3 months is a whole unique window of tenderness. There's no reason. And when I say 3 months, it does not mean like a light switch turns. I'm
Right.
just being very, very general. But it's very disorienting. And there's no reason for it not to be. The fact that we only give people like a week to grieve or take off work, and then people start to have the thoughts like, I don't know why I'm still not feeling like myself. And I'm not saying this is for everyone here in this community. I think many of you have a deeper attunement with your mind and emotions. However, our culture doesn't really speak to. For months and months, you're going to feel disoriented. Oh, and also we haven't even included the loss of a pet. Like that is such a huge loss for people. So tenderness, moving your body slowly, because we are not grounded whatsoever. In fact, part of us is in another realm because we want to be with our person in another realm. So you've got a foot here and a foot somewhere else. This is just because I always think safety. I'm a very self-preservation, safety-oriented person. When you're walking downstairs holding the handrail, these may sound silly, but I really, people can very easily get in like accidents because we're so ungrounded.
Right.
When sudden loss and change happens in our lives. Being extra careful when you're driving. Like look left, look right, look left, look right, like do it a few extra times, don't do any sudden anythings. Be very gentle and slow. Number one. So tenderness. Second thing that's really important is nature. Being out in nature. If the best you can do for yourself with a sudden loss is bring a blanket out of your living room, on your lawn, just getting out of the four walls. Listening to joining support groups. They're incredible online, immediately connecting. So really, I would say tenderness, nature, and connection. Because our friends are amazing support. And it takes somebody that has learned a little bit about how to support others in grief to know that friends who love you welcome hearing you share the same story over and over and over again. Like Abby and I, we do what's called out loud journaling, which many of you probably do in your friendships. Like I'll go to bed to a message from Abby. It's like 11 minutes.
This is out loud journaling.
This is Abby out loud journaling. And for a while with the Grief New, it was kind of almost the same 11 minutes over and over, which I welcome with all my heart.
Yeah.
Right. There's no expectation of anything shifting or changing. It's like, so having friends in your life that can welcome repetitiveness, because you're being with the reality of what's shifted and changed in your life.
On that note, quickly, I'll say too, what's been really supportive for me in friendship is, because I had an initial big grief wave, and then I had a different experience for a while. And lately I've been having another big wave of grief, which shows up really at night for me. And Danny and I live in different time zones. So in my night, she's usually asleep already. And Danny has been so generous Daniela has been so generous in, it's fine, doesn't matter what hour, just send me, send me updates, out loud journaling. And sometimes it's just, there's not much to say, it's just that you want someone on the other end to hear the sniffles, and I just want to say out loud, ew, grief is hard. The tears are here.
Of like 2 minutes of just crying, like,
yes.
Abby walking around in the dark in her house,
banging into things, And so I say that because for some of us, and this isn't necessarily a universal experience, but this is something I've experienced, is that it can feel really uncomfortable and vulnerable to expose those parts to people, even people we really, really love and who we know love us. It can feel so on top of the grief, like you're already feeling grief. Now we're exposing ourselves. We're like opening vulnerably the parts that are messy and wounds that are still open. So, and counterintuitively, even though that can feel so scary and edgy for some of us, having the courage to do that in connection in safe places with people who love us is crucial. It's so crucial. It's crucial to allow ourselves, especially those of us on a healing journey who are doing our best and we're always trying to grow, also allow yourself to fully feel that messiness, the grief when it comes. Let the snot and the tears be part of the experience so that it can move all the way through and it doesn't get stuck in your system. Because otherwise, for me, it gets stuck in my body or it gets stuck in my energy field. And if it's stuck in my energy field, I have a lot of trouble feeling aligned in my life. But if I let those emotions really move all the way from one side to the other, especially with a beloved friend who will, thank you, Daniela, who will listen, just be an ear to care and hold me. Then I wake up the next day and I feel, okay, I'm in alignment. I'm good. I can move through my life. So I think that's a really important thing to note, is it might feel vulnerable in those spaces, and go for it. Embrace it with the people who you care about and care about you.
And if we're in that, some of us are in those in-between places in our lives where some of you are on your healing spiritual journey, or awakening, and relations are changing. Sometimes we're in this in-between place of these relations are coming to completion and conclusion, and I have yet to attract my new growth in friendship in my lives, and we're in like a hermit crab in between shells, like they're really vulnerable, and it can feel alone. This is also where like online groups, connecting, like book clubs, hiking clubs, nature,
yes.
like going where you have a something you love, because being around other like-minded people around things, like we are wired for connection. We need connection. And I do want to share that there's an amazing online grief support group community. It's called Tender Hearts, and you go to grief.com.
Love that.
And David Kessler, and every single day of the week they have different grief groups. They're online. They're very skillfully facilitated. I can't speak highly enough about the
I have goosebumps. What a beautiful offering.
Yeah, it's incredible. Tender Hearts. There is a monthly contribution to join, and no one is turned away if it's not in your budget. They will turn no one away. This is and David Kessler is one of he was one of my mentors, and I trained with him. He has been a death and grief educator for decades. And interestingly, when he was writing his most recent book, I think it's like called the sixth meaning, the meaning as the sixth stage of grief, something like that. His son died while he was writing the book, and so he really comes from a wealth of knowledge and personal experience. He is a bereaved parent, so having support. So things that we need to do for ourselves when we're in transition, and we are conscious that part of transition means honoring sorrow and change, right? Having to let go of the future we thought we were going to have. That timeline. And you've also talked about some of the more, you know where I'm going.
Yes, I do. Yes.
So mark that. I just want to just cover the bases. So being tender with yourself in transition. Nature can hold all our pain. Bringing it to nature. Moving your body, at least gently, just walking, connection, and using your voice. Because in our culture, we muffle crying. I don't even like that phrase. I had an ugly cry. I can't stand that because it says there's I understand the intent. The point is to say it was a 10 out. It was what I like is that when we can say I wailed, there was wailing, right? So sound is an important expression, like allowing not only the tears, but the sound, because grief, the energy of change, wants to move in our body. When it becomes stagnant, when sound and emotion are held in the body, well, you all know where that goes. So making sound for our pain, even if we're just having a moment where maybe you're cooking and you're cooking alone, right? Some beautiful friends here in the community have shared loss of a pet, a divorce of many years, death. Like there you are in the kitchen making a meal, and that might be something you used to do together. Absolutely. Like, what is the sound of this moment? This is where Jakob brings in such skill as a vocal sound healer. He's like, it's not singing. It's actually like, oh, I just hit a wave of grief, and just allowing the sound of, like a sound allows emotion to move.
Yes.
And that's really important it's an important way to honor all our emotions that way, and especially the emotions that accompany change. So can we go back to where you were starting to feel, because you and your partner had been married for 10 years. You were together and married for 10 years. So this was a significant relationship. Abby had the audacity to, in the midst of our friendship, move out into the middle of an ocean on a little rock called Hawaii. Met her partner, right? And so here we are, fast forward, and now you've chosen a different timeline together. And what was your energy body feeling at moments?
Oh my gosh.
That was huge.
This was such a big deal. And I don't even know that I have, in fact, I know that I don't have any clear necessarily language around it, but I'll describe what the experience was. So what happened was that I came to a point in the relationship where the pressure of my inner voice was getting so intense. And the hearing of it's time for this relationship to end and take a new form. And as the pressure of that got more intense, and I finally worked up the courage to have that conversation, all of a sudden after having the conversation, it was as if making that conscious choice, because it was very conscious. I had to do a lot of inner work to get to the point where I was ready to say it and speak it. All of a sudden, it's almost as if making that choice opened up a doorway, a portal to sort of infinite potentiality. Like once the relationship, we were clear, okay, this is what we're doing. It was almost as if a singular timeline closed and like infinite more opened in front of me. I don't know how to explain that other than it was a feeling. It was like, oh my God, suddenly I can walk down all these hallways that I couldn't see before.
Mm.
Now, as I'm making choices in a new life,
Mm.
this for me is a new life. I'm living in a, I even was writing in my journal about at the time, I'm actually closing a book. I'm not even, you know how we always say, like, I'm in a new chapter.
No.
I'm not even in a new chapter. I've closed a book and I'm opening a new book. And as I'm writing this new book, and I have a lot of consciousness around being able to make choices,
Mm.
I feel myself almost weaving between timelines. It's almost like it's not solidified yet because I'm still creating my life. So as I'm creating and building my new reality, I feel myself moving between options. And how I know that that's happening is the synchronicity is bananas. Like the level of synchronicity in my world is out of this world. It's like I was journaling the other day, and for whatever reason I wrote down 6 1s, 1 1 1 1 1 1.
So many ones.
Just so many ones as just part of I was just journaling.
You're now doing binary.
Yeah, just
You're now coding. Yeah, you're coding your reality.
Coding my reality. I'm not kidding. After that, since that was like 3 or 4 days ago, I've seen 1111s, 111s, all of that happening, which happens regularly for, I'm sure, many of us. Infinite exponential. Like I'll leave a voice note and it just happens to be 111. It's just a constant. So the synchronicity is really strong. And for me, when I'm experiencing synchronicity, I do my best to bring it back into myself and ask the question of, what is this showing me? I think it's easy to be like, oh, there's another 1111. Oh, there's another. But I really work to bring that synchronicity back in and ask, like, bring it back into my own soul space and ask, what is this thread showing me? So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, the second way that I know that this timeline shift is happening is that I'm curious if others have experienced anything like this as transition is happening. It's almost like sometimes I remember something happening and I'll make a choice based on it. But then when I go back to that person and have that conversation again, that's actually not how it happened for them. Like we had I'm having intersecting experiences with other people that I have to constantly check in on and reorganize, because it's really hard to put language to this kind of stuff. But I think the crux of it all is that as we create our lives, as we step into full choice from the alignment of wisdom, love, and power, as we experience ourselves as the creators of our lives, it really does begin to take form in a similar way that writing a book would, where you start to write a storyline and then realize you still have infinite possibilities. So you might rework some of that plot line or make a different choice. It's a spectacular experience to become responsible for the creation of our lives and realities. It's divine.
It's divine.
So I'm wondering if I'm making any sense at all, or if I'm
Yes. Nicole says yes. Thank you,
Okay.
Nicole.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
I want to acknowledge also Sonia. Like, yes, Sonia is, you got it. Like, it's an instinctive healing, built-in healing mechanism, vocal sound healing, making sound to express, to help the energy of wounds move. And Kat, your comment caught my eye as well. Next Friday, put in your calendars, come back to the podcast or like watch the replay, because next Friday I'll be having Jakob come on, and he teaches you vocal sound healing as a way to honor our emotional body, and especially in around the area of grief. And he and I, Kat, are going to be offering a workshop that combines grief and forgiveness. the two together.
Oh my God.
So we'll share all that with you. But come to the podcast next week. And Sonia, you like right up your alley. And
and folks, do some Googling of in many cultures across the world. My early years were cultural anthropology. That's where my degrees are. And do some Googling of other cultures and religions around the world that have criers and wailers. It's a beautiful thing to watch. Many cultures have built in a grief process. They even often, in some cultures, there are people in the community that are wailers, and they will be invited to funerals, and they begin the process of wailing to give everyone permission to let the fullness of the grief out with no stifling. It is a powerful thing to witness, and it's almost, for some of us in Western culture, it can almost feel shocking because some of us don't have that culture.
And we've just never heard it. So it's stunning. I was holding a grief
deep.
circle for a woman whose husband suddenly passed. They'd been married like 50 years and very young. They had an amazing relationship, and he suddenly died. And we had a circle with her. And at the end, something shifted, and she just allowed that wailing to, like, sounds moved through her that she had never made. And all of the people, there were probably 50 people there, just slowly, intuitively, there was no like conversation whatsoever. It was silent. Everybody just knew to go and be around her and touch her. And it was like a whole web. It was like a whole web of love that was like everybody was touching. It was a big, beautiful, energetic web of care, and held that space for all that sound to move. Really remarkable. So what time and what link for Jakob will be at this podcast next Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. I'll share the write-up for the podcast and the guests for next week. I'll put that out on Monday morning.
Jakob is amazing.
Yeah. And Martin Pritchell is an author that writes about grief in many cultures. The smell of dust, the smell of rain on dust, I think is his most recent body of work. And if you look him up, Martin Pritchell, Pretchel, he has a 3-part video series about grief that is really profound through the shamanistic lens. There was something else I wanted to ask you, but it escapes me.
This is a powerful conversation about grief and sound, because I think it has so much to do with our authentic, unfiltered expression that I think we have a tendency to want to filter ourselves for the world a lot. And it's a beautiful thing to give ourselves permission to be fully authentic and honest. And sound is such a beautiful way to do that.
Yeah. It's built in, tears and sound. We have these built-in self-regulating mechanisms to support our honoring our emotions. Abby's also an herbalist. And one of the things we both love sharing are Bach remedies.
Oh, I have mine right here. Yep.
Okay.
Always.
So this one is the one that I always recommend that like everybody have in their cabinet. I always put it in all my water that I So this is called Bach Rescue. There's Rescue Remedy, which is made with or without alcohol. And this one is my favorite. I don't even do the Rescue Remedy anymore. I do Rescue Sleep. Now, it does not help you to sleep. It doesn't make you drowsy. It has a bonus 6th flower that helps the mind with repetitive cyclical thinking slow down.
Yeah.
So that's what oftentimes keeps people from sleeping. So there's nothing in the sleep aid. I'm like, well, why wouldn't I just do the sleep aid during the day? And it helps everything from tendencies towards impatience or irritation or fast working mind, to unattended sorrow. It's incredible. I can't speak highly enough of the efficacy of Bach remedies.
And this is Rescue Sleep in little like dots. You can get it that way too. And I always just carry, it's flat, so I carry it this way in my bag at all times.
Pamela, let me read the fine print for you. Okay. In this is white chestnut, rock rose, clematis, impatience, cherry plum, and Star of Bethlehem. And if you're only navigating grief, Star of Bethlehem is a go-to, but yet grief always accompanies the other things too. So I would just go for the rescue sleep. Hey, Loy. Mwah, mwah. Love you, my dear. We were just talking about grief and change and all the effects of loss in our lives on all the layers of our being. Michelle, you can buy it online. You can make it yourself. You can. It's really, really a whole beautiful world. We could do a whole section about Bach remedies because we also make custom blends for people. Yeah. The gist of Bach remedy is very, very much like through the line of homeopathy. The remedies are a frequency and a vibration of each particular flower. And how they support you is giving support to the specific emotion you're experiencing so that it helps them to peel back by layers. Like I have a friend who right before she bleeds typically would feel a lot of anger energy. And when she started taking Bach remedies that next month, the anger peeled back to reveal what was underneath it, and that was sadness, and the tears moved. And so under that is something else, under that is something else. And so what Dr. Edward Bach discovered was that because our bodies are designed to be self-healing, regulating systems, emotion, think Laura Whitworth too, she talks a lot about this, as do many of the practitioners here, emotions that are unattended to, not processed or honored, whatever language you like, stall the body's ability to heal itself. So once you attend to the emotional layer, then healing can kick back in gear. But as long as we are denying or not attending to our emotional layer, that's where disease can settle into the body. So he would see in his patients whatever was happening on the physical layer. Once the emotions were attended to, the self-healing would kick back in.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah, they're incredible. Go ahead, Abby.
Part of the reason I carry this all the time, rescue remedy or rescue sleep, I carry both, but I carry it in multiple forms too, because I love to give it to others when they need it. And I don't know what form they would love, but I carry it because it's really great to bring me back into my body when I start to shift into either an anxious state, like if I have to do something I'm nervous about, or I have to have a conversation that feels scary for me. I love to have it. And it also supports me in just for me, it's the first step in grounding. It takes just like you said, it peels back the layer of kind of frantic nervousness or heightened energy so that I can then, do grounding breaths and actually feel grounded.
Yes. So I always actually feel grounded.
And really, So it's a really useful thing, and it's very useful if something shocking occurs also, which can happen out in life, and that can range from anything small to large, and it can really help to just bring you back to presence in a moment where you need to come back to presence.
And I always love sharing anytime I can. The most simplest, potent simple meaning you won't forget these directions. If you ever are feeling a lot of tension in your systems, friends, breathe in deep, exhale long. Exhale as long and luxuriously as is there. You don't have to count 4 in, 6 out, 4 in, 10 out. Just nice inhale deep and exhale as long. You can do exhale long, open with your mouth open or closed. What it does is it starts to help bring some soothing and regulation to the vagus nerve that moves through all 3 centers of your intelligence. This vagus nerve runs through the head, heart, and body core centers. So anywhere from 10 seconds to 3 to 5 minutes, you could lie down, put your hands on your belly, inhale deep, exhale long. This is one of the most soothing, calming grounding breaths. And if you're feeling a lot of anger and tension, you do the open mouth like an O shape, like you're exhaling out a straw, because that's also adds an element of cooling those jets. Yeah, it's a great breath
Cooling the
practice.
jets.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful one. I love that.
Also, the rescue remedy comes in chewing gum form and little candies as well. My son is 17 and he takes I buy boxes of them by the case.
Yeah.
And he just hands it, but when his friends are like, dude, you got gum? And like they're getting like rescue remedy gum.
Yep. A dose of calm. Yeah.
After the first few minutes, they're like, what is this? Healthy tech, healthy gum.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has that texture that after a few minutes, but you've gotten the goods, Yep. So he's out there dosing people with flower essences. Oh, Abby, anything else that you could tell us about your offerings, how you are enjoying these days helping your students and clients one-on-one, whether it's with healing or with their website and social media stuffs? Where would they find you if somebody wanted to do a consult and see, hey, is Abby my person?
Sure. Yeah. Mother Tree Coaching on Instagram is an easy way to find me. mothertreecoaching.com is an easy way to find me. I love doing personal and spiritual development coaching with people. We focus a lot on vitality and vibrancy in life, aliveness, and focus a lot on ego disentanglement work. I know that's a really fun
because we all are like, I'm gonna go at night. I go to sleep. I'm like, I hope I find that person that says ego disentanglement. And like, here you are. Like, so tell us a little bit about why would somebody be like, oh my gosh, finally an ego disentanglement.
So here's what's beautiful about ego disentanglement work, which means nothing to most of us.
It's so great though. It's such brilliant work, you guys. Like, we've just been joking about this forever. It's like,
it's like language that makes no sense. Like I'm like, yeah, ego disentanglement work. It's so our ego, a lot of us know about our survival mechanisms, right? Like it's even common in our culture now. We know about being people pleasers or caretakers, or we know about fight, flight, fawn, and freeze. We know about these ways that we survive. What we often miss is what's running the survival mechanisms. And what's running the survival mechanisms is an untrue, but we believe it, belief about ourselves. And it sounds really simple, but it's quite insidious. A belief system of I'm unworthy, or I'm inherently bad or evil, or there's something wrong with me, or I'm not good enough. When we are believing that so much about ourselves that we are trying to survive it all the time, and we don't even know that. For example, for myself, what I've learned in my ego work is that people pleasing as a survival mechanism isn't just, oh, well, I learned to people please to make other people happy. I learned to people please to attempt to make other people happy because I believe there's something wrong with me. I believe there's something bad about me. And as long as I'm believing that true, I'm going to be surviving the world. And then we get a choice. Do I want to live my life surviving something that isn't real? Or do I want to be fully alive in my life, vibrant, aligned with wisdom, love, and power, and feeling soul expressed in my life? For me, I can't do the two at the same time. I can't be surviving my unkindness towards myself and feeling fully vibrant and alive in my life at the same moment. I have to understand the difference between the two. So ego disentanglement work is really about understanding the persona that we put together in order to attempt to survive the world. So it's really powerful work. It's very life-altering work. And what I love about it is the two sides. You dive deep into the unearthing the core of our wounds so that on the other side, we can really live a soul expressed, vibrant, vital, alive, aligned life.
Yeah, it's our birthright.
It's our birthright.
Yeah.
It's our birthright. And I also love to work with people herbally. I love, it's so fun to include plants in that process. Um, and yes, on the other side of my world, I have so much fun supporting people in building websites and creating their social media presence in a way that feels really aligned and not so scary, and creating an aligned business that has to do oftentimes with people's beautiful healing gifts.
Say it again, the phrase that you said at the start, like helping people to get their soul on paper, their soul on something.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, to me, that's the whole thing. It's instead of following what we think we should be doing on social media or on the internet, it's really a process of putting our soul, expressing our soul onto a web page or onto our social media profile in a way that feels really aligned for us, because then the right clients can connect to us perfectly because they see that soul resonance.
Yes, it's like your clients when they get on social media, it feels so authentic when I see their reels or their stories or their posts. I'm like, oh man, this is so and so, like so real, so authentic, so vulnerable. There's nothing in this reel that's somebody's trying to look good or
Right.
maybe there is the knowledge that comes through, but it's just the authenticity and the relatableness of it. It just feels so good. We're really moving in that direction, thankfully, away from the everything looking so polished
I agree.
and people really just shining in their unique, brilliant, beautiful ways.
Yes, which
And
is all the joy of life. I
oh,
love it. I love that.
okay. I also want to ask you about, is that Trillium on your wall?
These are Hawaiian gardenias.
Oh, and tell us where you got that.
I got this in Hawaii.
Mm.
I used to live in Hawaii, and the gardenia, I really resonate with plants, florals that have a really strong scent. For me, those kinds of aromatic florals bring me into my heart space in a very particular way. So this beautiful piece of work is multi-layered, but it's just a reminder. I can smell it when I see it. So it brings me right back into my heart space.
I'm there.
Yeah.
We just went there. Okay.
Everybody close your eyes and go to Hawaii for a second. Just be on a beach.
What are some of your other favorite deeply scented? Like, do you love the jasmines? You love the
Love jasmine.
plumeria?
Love plumeria. Yeah, I love pikake is another Hawaiian, and it has a scent, jasmine scent. And rose for me is such a much more accessible one for many of us, and wild rose in particular. There are many varieties of wild rose, but wild rose has a very potent smell. And rose, this is a great, if
Tell us
people want
about
to,
rose.
yeah, if people want to dabble in some beautiful herbal medicine, rose is such a great caretaker for those of us that are in the healing world, because rose is this, I mean, think of it. They're delicate and soft and tender and beautiful and open, and they have a gorgeous smell, and they invite you in, and they're colorful. They're pinks and reds and beautiful, and they have thorns. They have boundaries. They have protection. They know how to care for themselves, and they can be open because they know how to care for themselves in that way. Rose is beautiful heart medicine for us because she teaches us how to be open and tender, and to also know where our strong boundaries are. So, rose is a great place to start if you want to start playing with some herbal medicine. She is such a beautiful opening and protective friend, and she protects energetically also. So, she's a good friend ally to use through the day to maintain our openness to the world, but to also feel where our boundaries live. She's such a beautiful friend.
Okay, tell us about another friend.
Another herbal friend?
Yes. Everything Abby does, like her tea or her baths or whatever, always has flower shrapnel in it. Like, so tell us about what's another flower that gives you um, lessons? Like, so if Rose teaches about healthy boundaries and protection, tell us about another flower that carries a different wisdom.
Different kind of frequency.
Yeah.
Calendula is a really nice, gentle. I really like. We can go potent with plants, right? Like there are plants that are low dose botanicals that have serious like effects, and we can also go with tender usage of plants. And calendula is beautiful because she is vibrant and colorful. If you've ever seen calendula, oranges and yellows, that she really ignites joy and brightness in
She's
us.
marigold, oftenly known as marigold.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. And calendula is a wound healer. She's a vulnerary. She knows how to actually vulneraries, which is an herbal term, knit the skin together. They actually know how to help the cells of the skin come back together. So what's incredible about a plant like that is we can use them in our bodies physiologically for their specific constituents that affect our biology. And we can also look at energetically who they are in the world. We're talking about now a flower that is bright and light, but who knows how to help us really heal from the root. So I love to use plants in both ways. When I make blends for people, I will include things that will support that person for where they are in their bodies in the moment, but I will also include the spirit or heart medicine that that person is needing in their lives as well, emotional medicine or spirit medicine of different plants.
Okay, a question from Sonia.
Hi, Sonia.
What flowers to heal the heart?
Oh, this is my very favorite topic ever. So definitely rose medicine for sure. Another great friend for the heart is hawthorn. Hawthorn is very similar to rose in the sense that hawthorn produces beautiful bright berries and bright green leaves, but has thorns. Some people speak of hawthorn as like the crown of Jesus. That's the energy of hawthorn. So hawthorn is a great heart healer. Linden leaf is a great heart healer. I also, this isn't everyone's probably go-to for heart healing, but this is a big one for me. Nettles. And here's why. Nettles are tonic. They are nourishing. They have so many vitamins and minerals for our bodies. So they nourish us, but again, nettle has that boundary ability, and I think that that's a big part of heart healing, of grief healing, is boundaries help us to know ourselves, and they help us to know the difference between here's my space and here's another person's space. So those are a couple. Heart healing, who else comes to the forefront?
Sonia's asking, are these like teas, like tea linden consuming teas will also help? Like, so how would you recommend these be received?
Great question. So I love tea because I think the process of making tea is part of the medicine. It takes a little bit of time, right? We warm our water, we put our plants in, we let them steep. And I always speak the intention of what I'm asking the plants to do into my tea. So tea is a great way. Another great way is to put them in your bathtub if you have a bathtub, and soak in them. And then you can also use, if you're looking for a more potent and quick deliverable medicine, then you can use tincture, which you should be able to find at your local health food store, or you can find it online. Tincture is usually the herb extracted in alcohol or glycerin. And if you're alcohol sensitive, look specifically for glycerin. They're called glycerites. You could look it up on Google to find a glycerite of said plant.
Beautiful. There's a question from Carla. She's asking, do you like the fragrance of the Sansevieria? I'm so sorry, Carla. That was like the worst.
Can you spell it, Boop?
SANSEVIERIA. Can you see it in the comments? Probably not, because you're on your phone. Like,
Yeah, I'm on my phone. I don't know that I know that flower, Carla.
Sansevieria.
don't know.
Carla, yeah,
I will-
share a little more information. I'm so sorry that I did not honor I did a
No,
poor
that's
job of
beautiful. I will look that
honoring
up.
the
I don't
name.
know that I know. I don't know that I know that friend.
Okay, here we go. Sansevieria. Sansevieria. Thank you.
It's not. Yeah, it's not
Snake
coming.
plant. Carla says snake plant.
Oh, snake plant. Oh, that's a great question. I don't know that I can recall the aroma of snake plant well. Is there something that calls you to that
Yeah,
plant, Carla?
tell us, Carla, a little bit about it,
I'm
or how
curious because why I'm saying that is that if I often
Sansevieria.
find that there's a reason why we have a pull to a certain plant. So I'm curious what it is that has you asking, because there's a reason usually why we have a pull.
Yeah. We look forward to learn more, Carla. Thank you.
Yes, yeah. Thanks for the question. So fun to talk about plants.
All right. I think I want to announce some of the amazing things that are happening in both the free Divinate membership today and this weekend going into Monday, as well as in the paid side. Friends, always we thank you for your support of the Divinate community. Free platforms are not free. So thank you. Your contributions really make everything possible. And your participation in both the free and the paid side is amazing. And we're always, Laura is, as you know, so incredibly generous with how much she gives here in the podcast. So always explore what feels resonant with you and skip the rest. So let me take a look, friends, at events, because normally I have this all organized. And I know there's a couple of great things happening. Okay, tonight in the paid membership side, Rachel Chamness is talking and teaching all about Fae and elementals. So that's at 7:00 Eastern time. All the replays are available.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, she's really amazing. She's absolutely incredible. Very, very connected to the elemental world. So it'll be a wonderful conversation, and the replay is available. And if you do decide to join the paid membership, it's $18 a month. There's over 10 workshops every month. All the replays to everything are available. We've done our very best to keep it as absolutely affordable as possible. And then let's see. Sunday, I lead the forgiveness practice, the working with the 4 phrases of Ho'oponopono and Power of 8 work. That's Sunday morning. That's free. And then on Sunday at 1:00 in the afternoon in paid membership is Mediumship Circle. And that's led this week by Tia Carroll, psychic medium. She's fantastic. Some of you saw her on the podcast with Laura. So that is Mediumship Circle Sunday at 1:00. All abilities welcome. If you are just mediumship curious, if you have been a practicing medium and you're seasoned in that field, all are welcomed, because in all of our workshops, we really strive to invite the beginner's mind for everyone. Everyone has such a brilliant wealth of information and knowledge, and there's something magnificent to learn from everyone. So always, having that open beginner's mind is open, is flexible, is receptive, is absorbent, and then you can run it through your system. Does it feel resonant and right? Yes. Does it not? Then chuck it. Right. So you just welcome in what resonates with you, and set aside the rest. Monday, just jumping ahead a little bit to have this on your radar, I'll be interviewing Ron at 10 a.m. of New Earth Ascending, talking about the multiversity education of the self-realization path as well as the practitioner path. That'll be Monday at 10. Then Loy will be in free Divinate leading the Magical Mindful Monday at 1
Ooh, fun.
11 in the free side. Lori is just so much fun, such great energy. And Loy does a little chat and then reads cards with you and then closes out with a beautiful meditation. So that's on Monday with Loy. Keep going on the free side to the every morning. Kaya is offering a whole nother month of 9:30 a.m. harmonic resonance daily activations, 11 minutes, and the replay is available. There's so many replays in the free side as well. Okay, so we do our very best to bring you as much diverse education and entertainment and as possible in both the free and paid. So we really, really so appreciate you. And oh, Sonia, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Sonia, there's a link right under and above. I see it in the comments. Okay. Come on into the free side. Check out the free. And if you like what you're learning there, then please enjoy the next step up if you're interested. And we're just so happy to be here with you. It's a privilege.
It really, really is.
And Abby's, if you'd like to do a free consult with Abby, and just share where you're at. She's an incredible guide, such a loving guide to help you exactly where you are in your process of living your spiritual insights, of helping you to understand a little bit about those survival strategies that we innocently create to survive life between 0 and 15. And she is masterful with helping you to connect with what from the natural world would support you, as well as getting you on social media if you want to be in a way that feels
so fun too.
In a way that feels authentic and unweird.
Yeah, unweird, exactly.
Oh, Kat, we love being here with you all, and we just love learning with again everyone here. You all each of you brings such an incredible wealth of wisdom and knowledge. One of our teachers, Katie and I, Abby and I have studied with Byron Katie, and we over many years now. And at both of our schools for the work, I'm pretty sure Katie said this to you. There's no one here. There's no one ever anywhere that has more wisdom than another. We all have equal wisdom. We all have equal access to wisdom. So let us continue along on our journeys, feeling more and more comfortable in ourselves to be able to share our collective wisdom. And it's so powerful to do this work because it's tough work. It's tough work moving from personality to essence. It's rigorous and it's courageous. This is a very courageous path. If you're here, you're a courageous warrior. You are.
I couldn't agree more.
So it's our joy to travel together with you. And we love sending our love to Laura and her family, and may all beings be happy, healthy, peaceful, and may all beings know freedom. And so it is.
And so it is done.
Yeah. Have a wonderful Friday, everyone. Maybe we'll see some of you in Rachel's Elementals and Fae talk tonight at Divinate. And there's lots of free stuff happening too. Okay, so we wish you a beautiful day. Abby, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This was so wonderful. And thank you all for being here. This is really special.
What's TTFN?
Is that ta-ta for now? Because if it is, I love that.
It is. We're just saying this.
So cute.
Wait, Michelle, hang on, everyone. One more moment. I want to share with you.
I wish I had music for when Danny did the
You were just reading my mind. I was like, can you sing some? Look at Michelle's beautiful work. Oh my gosh. Michelle, can you share your Etsy page?
Oh my gosh.
There's my pendulum doing yes. Look how beautiful this is. Let me get it by the camera.
Oh,
this one has lapis and quartz, and then the smaller one has amethyst.
Oh, that's so stunning.
Yeah, they feel
that's stunning.
Yeah, they feel so beautiful. There's Michelle's Etsy page. they're so gorgeous. They feel so wonderful in the hand. Like, and
Oh,
they have cute little acorn tops.
oh,
Look at that.
that's the
That makes me
best.
so happy because it makes me think of squirrels and chipmunks.
Oh, yes, of course.
So, like, right.
Sweetest. That's so
And
sweet.
squirrels and chipmunks have the hands that are my favorite hands in the world.
I
So,
truly could not agree more with that. Teeny little hands.
thank you so, Michelle. These are just stunning beyond words.
Beautiful.
So thank you. We're doing a whole podcast just about the animals we love. Okay, we're just going to talk about animals.
We certainly are.
I love you, and
I
see you
love
soon.
you.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Mwah.